Welcome to Animals Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin McKenzie, and happy to be joined today. Troublemakers, I can just tell. There's always conversation before we go live and start recording, and today's conversation has been spirited and fun, and if it's any indication, it's going to be.
We all sat down and developed a curriculum that would be important for training OSPCA staff.
Okay.
We've spent a lot of time and focused a lot of our training around the Canadian Code of Practice for the care and handling of farm animals. And those are considered the standard of care nationally for all the different farm species.
Now, is there training for livestock overall? But I've heard you reference the equine course and equine training. Is that specific and different than the livestock training?
Very much so, because horses are used in very different ways than other livestock. And so we developed a specific one for horses. They are one of a common complaint for people to bring to the OSPCA. And so we felt that if we could have one designed specifically on horses, how they are used, how they're used differently in different sectors. And then we also had the Code of Practice come out for horses in 2013. Okay. So that helped to move things forward.
So obviously these are large animals, and rescuing them, moving them, transporting them, there's a lot of thought that needs to go into those projects. Can you give examples or speak to why it's so important to have specific training around livestock or horses?
Certainly for horses, they are a big animal, but even the little ponies can hurt. Okay. So you need to understand that even though it is a domestic horse, it still wants to run away if it's afraid or if it feels threatened. And so you need to know where those safety zones are. You need to know how that animal is likely to react when you come near it. Some have been handled well, others have not been handled at all, others have been handled badly. So having a real in-depth understanding of equine behavior will help keep everybody safe.
Darren, I want to pose this next question to you. Can you give me examples of situations where this training has come in handy? I know you've seen a lot working out there on the road. So
absolutely, and even before the training, to demonstrate the need that we had for it, was we didn't really have anything. It was more so on the job training when it came to livestock. And livestock calls, although they don't make up a large percentage of the calls we get a year, they can still be the most intimidating and complex and resource taxing of any calls. And so a lot of officers, even though they would do what we could prior to the development of this training, no one was still feeling comfortable dealing with livestock calls, just due to even fear of the animals, as you mentioned, the size of them and sheer safety factors. So once this training got developed, we started to see huge more comfortability and confidence with officers responding and having the tools and knowledge to know, understand the codes of practice, know what to look for, and actually do good assessments of the animals and fall back on the materials and the information that was taught to them. Okay. And first with the livestock, and then as Tina and Gayle both alluded to, horses typically do make up, of livestock calls, horses make up the most of those typically. Okay. Yeah. And so that's why there's more hands-on in the horse component. And the feedback we're getting just from officers just actually feeling, I can go actually assess a cow or a horse now, has been incredible. The response is to the point now that you look back to how did we do things before. Yeah. So it's been, just every day calls come in for livestock, and officers now, everyone has taken the training, and now it's actual core component of new recruit training. So every year, every new hire is actually going through this training, so everyone is actually getting the benefits, and we see the benefits now at every livestock call.
Well, Tina, you brought up that there have been a lot of changes since 2009. When this training was developed, there's been an evolution in animal welfare. Can you speak to that? And what you referenced was the updating of training.
Yes. Well, a lot of our training relies around the Code of Practice, which is considered to be the standard of animal care, the accepted standard for animal care in Canada. And the codes, I think, have increased in the role that they play in animal welfare regulation across Canada, but also a new system has developed where now they are much more structured, There are requirements and regulations, and a new code of practice has been developed for just about every single livestock sector and horses since 2009. So each year we have to go back to the training update with the new codes of practice, new requirements, regulations, and so those are very important part of the training. And so we've had to spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, and then even though all officers have gone through this training, I've had inquiries from officers that have already taken it, asking if they can take it again because they know of the changes that have happened.
Do we have a set, a policy in place when it comes to the updating of training within the investigations area? Like, is it every so often that our investigators need to go in to polish things off and kind of...
There is actually. As things get to a certain point, we actually do mandate mandatory training for every officers, and that happens every so often that we'll identify key training that everyone has to either take again or just something's changed. You got to come and take this course to get caught up to date and refresh. And yeah, this is certainly something that now over the years is getting to that point that though we haven't mandated everyone come back, people are realizing it themselves that they need to get the update because of the changes. And that actually has sparked me to think it's probably time to actually institute possibly a protocol that would get everyone through again.
Definitely. Now, when we went to the break, I referenced that we were going to come back and talk about the horse portal. Gayle, what's a horse portal?
The horse portal is a meeting place online between the industry and Equine Guelph. And the goal is to have two-way conversations so that we can learn about welfare of horses and learn how to take better care of those horses. So it's not just the welfare, it's biosecurity, it might be safety and behavior around horses. So it's a new program that we've just launched, and we're very excited about it because we have all English-speaking federations across Canada that are partners with us.
Oh, nice.
And so that's a whole new approach to doing education for the horse owner out there.
How do I find the horse portal?
Thehorseportal.ca
Okay.
is the best place to get going. And you can also go to equineguelph.ca to get more information about who we are and what we do. But if you go to thehorseportal.ca, you'll see the new courses that are on offer. And we are right now in the middle of the Welfare Code of Practice. So we've just rolled that out nationally. We have students from one end of Canada to the other, and it is absolutely fascinating to talk to people in the Yukon about how they care for horses, or out in the eastern provinces, or out in Alberta or BC on the island, because horse care can be very different depending on where you're taking care of your horses. And so what happens in Saskatchewan or Alberta is not what happens in Ontario or out on Vancouver Island. And so this is a real neat sharing, a learning community that shares with each other best practices about horses.
That's incredible. Where do you want to take the portal? Like, how do you see this resource expanding and evolving?
It's a wonderful opportunity for partners to be working together. So Equine Guelph has been very fortunate to receive the funding to develop this platform. And so now the opportunity there is for other associations or groups to come and partner with us on this platform. And so instead of somebody trying to create it themselves, they can work with us and we can help them achieve what they need to do for training or any other sort of information dissemination.
Have you seen groups come together that in the past didn't really have dialogue that are now using this as, like, you've built real relationships?
Yes, actually, and they're expanding.
That's amazing.
And it's very exciting because we've got about 3 different groups on the table right now that are having discussions about what we're going to do. And it's just, I mean, we can't afford to fly people from one end of Canada to the other. And a lot of what you do in face-to-face seminars can be done online. You can have really very in-depth discussions online. And so that's one of the benefits of this.
And thank you, the listeners of Animal's Voice, for listening, for sharing this broadcast, I guess for watching now, because Emily's now videotaping these things. Thanks, Emily. Thanks for that. And we want you to continue to be a part of the conversation. So please drop me a line at kmckenzie@ospca.on.ca. Let me know what kind of topics you would like to hear about here on Animal's Voice. You can find me on Twitter at ospcakevin. And keep telling your friends to listen too. Until next time, we'll catch you later.
Hey guys, Callie here from the Ontario SPCA. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and of course subscribe so that you can catch our brand new videos every other Tuesday. Hey, don't forget, like, share, comment, because we love to hear from you.